Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome to the awards contender. I am thrilled to welcome back to the channel Oscar expert and brother bro. We are talking final SAG predictions. Sorry, actor awards predictions today. In those 5 categories, how are we doing, guys?
We're excited to dive into these winner predictions. I don't feel confident, but we're going to see what we can come up with, and hopefully we can be right about it. So hopefully we can call something good. Like last year, we had the Timothy Chalamet.
That's right.
We called
All three
that
of
one
us
winning
predicted
Best
him.
Actor.
Yeah,
Did we call it? We did.
No, we didn't.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
we did.
Yeah, we did.
For SAG.
For SAG.
And
For
then we
SAG,
changed last minute.
I didn't.
Well, on my
I think
video.
I changed.
On his video, we predicted it.
I think I
On
changed.
my video, we went with Chalamet, and there were dozens of comments like, guys, it's going to be Adrian Brody. Like, you're crazy.
Well, then I need
Like,
to
what are you
change. I
thinking?
need to not back down from whatever I do tonight. So
Exactly.
So you guys might, like, after recording this, change your mind, like, by Sunday? I'm going to try to
the
stay
only-
the same.
I think PGA could be relevant information.
Mm,
Like, for example, like if Sinners won PGA, which I'm not predicting, like you'd be a little silly to not go for an ensemble at that point.
right. Yeah. So this is
But I'm
dropping
still
on
not gonna change my
Saturday.
prediction.
We're hours
Yeah.
away from PGA when this drops. Yeah, if Sinners wins PGA, that could mean something for SAG. You're right. But yeah, I don't know. This isn't a PGA predictions video, but I'm kind of leaning toward one battle to win that. So you guys feeling that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it may as well be a PGA prediction video because, like, how long would a PGA prediction video even be, right?
Yeah.
It's either going to be Sinners or one battle. The evidence is pointing towards one battle. If you have a hunch and you want to go say Sinners is going to win PGA, that'd be a huge deal. It would probably win Best Picture. But I'm going to predict one battle because it just seems like that's where things are going.
It just seems so strong. There's not a ton of evidence to suggest Sinners would take PGA, but if it does, that's
Yeah.
going to be huge. It's going to be big.
Yep.
So yeah, we are predicting SAG today, starting with Best Supporting Actor. The nominees are Miles Caton, Sinners, Benicio del Toro, One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein, Paul Mescal, Hamnets, and Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. How are you guys feeling? This is a tough category to predict. We could just go with the BAFTA win, which I was a big fan of. My choice in this category, I don't know about you guys, is Sean Penn. I think he gives the best performance there. So I'm like really excited at the prospect of him winning at SAG and then the Oscar, winning his 3rd Oscar for that. I'm like, okay, awesome. But I don't think it's like that easy for him to take SAG. It could be someone else. What are you guys thinking?
I think before the BAFTAs happened, I was trying not to think too hard about what would happen here because it was giving me brain problems. But I think I was kind of leaning towards Sean Penn.
Really?
Like, I mean, when you think about SAG, you think about like they award really showy performances.
Yeah.
So, and Stellan Skarsgård wasn't there, so we couldn't go for him, even if we thought that he was winning the Oscar, which now is pretty not secure.
It's tanking.
I know a lot of people thought Jacob Elordi maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't see Frankenstein as being like that strong right now. And he only won the Critics' Choice, and it was a surprise. And there's just not like anything else going for Jacob Elordi, proving that he's like winning the award. So if they were to go for a One Battle Boy, I feel like it would be the showier villain role in Sean Penn. And but with the BAFTA confirmation of Sean Penn being really strong, which was shocking. I didn't think he was going to win BAFTA. I think we got to go.
Who predicted that? Did anyone predict that? That Sean Penn was
Not
winning
that I
BAFTA?
know.
I mean, I'm sure some people did, but it
That
wasn't
was
me.
wild.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
mean, the
over
surprising thing
Skarsgård.
about it, I feel like whenever something surprising happens, we have to go backwards and then like remind people of why it was surprising. But since Benicio del Toro started sweeping awards early in the season, it really looked like Sean Penn was weak. And I had him predicted to win the Oscar after I saw One Battle and until Benicio started to take all the awards. I think it was one of the Twitter polls that where they surveyed whether people liked Benicio or Sean Penn better, and it showed they were neck and neck. I thought, there's too much splitting going on. Like he's not going to be a consensus pick. But winning the BAFTA award really makes you think he's got to be the front runner because you're in a Best Picture potential winning movie.
Yeah.
And you've got, he's just laughing because the cat did something weird.
Cat did something great and weird.
Cat did something really good. Let's see. He's in the Best Picture frontrunner.
Yep.
BAFTA's super important, and he beat the guy who we thought was going to win. So I think he's like possibly the de facto frontrunner at this point, right? And as far as what SAG does, because everything's been crazy and everything's been different, they could go a different direction. But even if they did Elordi, maybe even if they did Benicio del Toro. Now, if Benicio won, that would be very difficult. I think
would be crazy.
That would be like probably the most insane option you could go for, because you would either say, you might say there's a 50-50 shot for each of them, and then you could even throw Stellan into the mix, saying there's like a third lane that could open up, right? Yeah. And then maybe they would split votes and Stellan Skarsgård could win. So that would be the absolute most chaotic pick going into the Oscars. And then other than that, I mean, Paul Mescal, he should have won BAFTA, right? If he was going to be a formidable contender, because he's Irish.
He's the least likely to win. He's less likely to win the
He's not at the Oscars.
Right. Right, sorry, yeah, he's not even nominated. Okay, forget it, right?
So Miles Caton can't win. I just don't see Miles Caton winning without the Oscar nomination.
Right? So that's it.
So it's three guys. Yeah, I mean, the last few days I've been doing like process of elimination. I'm like, okay, well, who can't win? Okay, 2 are out, and then like Benicio del Toro. What's so interesting about him is that he was so dominating in December with the Critics' Prizes. I thought, well, he's going to win something this season, like Critics' Choice, something, and it's like he's really not going to win anything. Like he also has a small chance, I think, to win at SAG. He's very well liked. He won in Best Actor for Traffic, not Supporting Actor, at SAG 25 years ago. He could also pull this off, and then Delroy Lindo will be celebrating.
Right, maybe Delroy Lindo can get the nomination, or can get the win if votes are so split.
I know.
That'd be crazy. Five different winners.
With them, it happened with Marcia Gay Harden's season. We talk about it all the time. I just made a video about it a few weeks ago, and it's like the way that Lindo can do it is Benicio wins at SAG. That's how Delroy can pull it off.
Pure and utter chaos and vote splitting, and maybe a Sinners PGA win or something like that. Something like Sinners is more dominant than we thought.
Yeah.
So, but honestly, I think most roads for the Oscar are going to lead you to Sean Penn.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes me lean towards that SAG is going to go for Sean Penn, because we're down Stellan Skarsgård. He's not even nominated here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I'm not having that hard of a time going for Sean Penn, to be honest.
Okay.
I feel like in terms of the type of performance it is, one battle is likely to do, win some awards here.
Yeah. One battle's got to win something here, right?
I don't think, I think SAG correlates with Oscar enough that you don't want to just be like, well, Jacob Elordi will win SAG, but it doesn't make enough sense for Oscar. That'd be a weird thing to predict. I mean, it would make the race pretty easy at that point for someone to just have like SAG and BAFTA. So maybe it's like too easy, but I don't see why Benicio would beat Sean Penn. So that's kind of my reason.
Yeah.
It's just given that he's a subtler performance.
Are you saying you don't take Elordi seriously?
I don't know why you'd say, oh, Elordi will win SAG and then not win the Oscar. It just
yeah.
SAG correlates a lot with the Oscar, and it would be weird to predict someone who you don't think has a shot.
Ha.
Oh, you're going to have some things to say about me in a minute here then.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know. I'm thinking about that too, and I might also not. I don't know what.
That's
I'm doing
an interesting perspective.
Like, we just discussed. Okay,
yeah, well, you don't know what.
We'll get to it later.
That's an interesting perspective, guys. It's like, okay, if I really feel in my heart Jacob Elordi has no chance in hell of winning the Oscar, then I cannot predict him to win at SAG. I mean, is it that simple? I don't know.
I think he
can
still
win at
here.
SAG and then just not win at the Oscar?
Yeah, I think he can. I'm going to say he can.
It's possible.
It's like Chalamet for A Complete Unknown. Perhaps.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. That's true.
But the thing with that was, I mean, look, maybe that's a bad comparison, because the reason that he won over Adrian Brody was because The Brutalist severely underperformed.
Yeah.
And then
didn't get into
Complete Unknown did extremely well. But, Elordi's up against One Battle boys, and One Battle did. I got the most nominations of all time, right?
I don't sense momentum for Frankenstein. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah, I agree.
So I feel like at SAG, One Battle wins something. If it's not going to take cast, you have supporting actress maybe for Taylor and supporting actor for one of these two guys. And I think after BAFTA, Sean Penn just makes the most sense, just based on the performance he gives in that film. I mean, I mean, actors have to go for that, right? He's so great. I think he
it's
wins
a transformation. It's very showy. It's very physical. So there you go.
I hope he's there if he wins. I hope Sean Penn goes to SAG.
That's the other funny thing is like Benicio was the one campaigning. That's part of the reason why he's winning those Critics Awards. He's everywhere. And then like Sean Penn just is going to win an Oscar from not campaigning at all. I mean, sometimes that happens, but.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hard to win a third, you know? It has to just be like, there's nobody else. It's just, it has to be this person. So that's what makes me question the Oscar win for Sean Penn. But it has been many years since Milk.
About McDormand, but it didn't really matter for her
because
is the number Viola was up for her first leading win, and people thought that was a better narrative. And of course, it was a better narrative.
Yeah. All McDormand won was BAFTA, right? Before? That was the only thing she won before the Oscar for Nomadland? Right. So it could be a McDormand Nomadland situation with Sean Penn. We're all like, well, it could be a Lordy, it could be blah blah. Like it's gonna be just Penn at the end here, and that will make me very happy. Actually, I think that's the performance that should win. So I'm like, awesome.
There you go. And then I hear a lot of people saying that too. They're like, oh, I don't even know why it was anyone else ever.
That was, I mean, January was weird. I was like, really? Like nobody was even talking about Sean Penn to win. It was like not even in the conversation. He was like always fourth or fifth. And I'm like, what?
Him making like common sense kind of just also makes me want to settle on him. So.
Yeah. It's a showy villain role. It's his best work maybe ever. Like he's so great. So I think he's going to take it at SAG. I hope he's there to give a speech.
No speeches the whole season. That'd be very interesting.
He wins the Oscar. He's not even at the Oscars either.
He's too busy with his like humanitarian work, or
he went to the Globes.
Being in a foxhole in Ukraine. I'm not sure where he
was.
But
he was at the Globes, you guys. I think after his BAFTA win, I think he's going to show up to SAG in the Oscars. I do think. I think he'll go to these last two, but who knows with him. All right, so we're in agreement. Our final prediction at SAG to win Best Supporting Actor is Sean Penn, One Battle After Another. Next up is Best Supporting Actress. The nominees are Odessa A. Zion, Marty Supreme, Ariana Grande, Wicked for Good, Amy Madigan, Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku, Sinners, and Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another. Imagine if Ariana Grande were to win. What would that look like?
I think that's the kind of chaos.
I wasn't even thinking about her. She was nominated here. Forgot about that.
Like that would bring the house down. We'd be like, what? Oh, okay. I don't think that'll happen.
We'd really know. She would have won the Oscar. She was so close.
That's the end of the road for Wicked. Like 2 seasons of Wicked. Last season was more like busier. It was busier for the cast and crew. This is the end. You know, Grande's there. I wonder if she'll show up to the ceremony. It'll be interesting. So I think we can eliminate Grande and A. Zion. They're not nominated for the Oscar. So it's the other 3. This one is tricky, you guys. What are you think? What are you thinking about this one? Like I could see any one of these 3 winning.
This is the hardest
one. What do you think?
I had like a way that I broke this down that it gave me a opinion that I actually didn't have going in, which I think was good. Like I unbiased myself almost.
Okay.
So the way I'm thinking about this is Wunmi Mosaku. I mean, she's a real contender. Her BAFTA win was really surprising to me. And the thing that's unknown about it is like, did she win? We could look back at the season and BAFTA could be her only win. And we would just say, well, that was one of those categories where they gave it to someone on the home turf. And that kind of explains it. And we don't really feel that much like cognitive dissonance about that. Or we rationalize it. Alternatively, that could be an indicator that she's about to do something big, right? I mean, that she could take the Oscar or the SAG. But I'm honestly not ready to go there personally because I don't feel that performance makes enough sense intuitively.
Right.
Like, just given that she was really like, she was an outstanding member of the ensemble. But I didn't feel like, compared to some other people in this category, that her character, I don't know how to say it, because she was great in the movie. But I guess I was just surprised that she even got so many nominations in the first place. Like, the role didn't strike me as like, oh, that's definitely going to get nominated. I'm happy she's here. But for her to win would just be very surprising.
That's interesting.
What did you think?
That's interesting. That's how I
take on
that's
that?
how I felt about Tiana Taylor.
Right. And people
Like,
feel that way about
I
Tiana
think
Taylor, too.
she's
That's what I'm
fine.
saying.
She's fine in that movie. Like, is she competitive to win SAG and the Oscar? I'm like, I don't really see it. She got the Globe, and that was something. I feel like if Sean Penn is taking SAG and the Oscar, then it's not someone from One Battle who wins in supporting actress. Do you think Taylor can win at SAG?
I definitely think she can win. I'm going back and forth, but I kind of agree with you because Tana Taylor, I agree that she is, Oscar worthy for the time that she's on screen. But I think her and Masaku both don't have a no-brainer Oscar clip. And I think when you look at the winners of this category, they are very obvious that, like, nobody could mistake that is like an award caliber, like big flashy performance. It's like usually how it goes. And Masaku and Taylor are also kind of in a similar position in their careers where they had like their indie Sundance breakout and then they go on and they're like in, a mega juggernaut Oscar contender.
Right.
They don't have like, and I guess they're both in the winning conversation now. So I wonder if like, it almost, I don't know if I want to call it like vote splitting, but I don't know if it's so obvious that one rises above the other, especially after like BAFTA going with Masaku and Taylor winning Globe. And also the critics groups didn't really seem to have an obvious person they gathered around either. And Masaku and Taylor did win like kind of a similar amount of those, with Madigan taking like the majority.
So in your eyes, they're kind of balanced out. Like it's not clear who's in front of who.
Yeah, it's like I can imagine Taylor sweeping a season where everyone just kind of like goes, "Hey, like that's the winner." Like we accept that that's the winner, but it doesn't seem like that's been happening. Like because she only has the Globe out of the major awards.
I was ready to say that was happening after the Globe win, but and because I was like, well, Madigan, I mean, winning for a film where it's not even in Best Picture, I'm not sure about that. But her losing the BAFTA really made me be like, oh, okay, shit, I guess she's not that strong. I do think Tana Taylor might still win the Oscar, but what are your thoughts?
Well, I feel like Taylor has to win at SAG to get the Oscar. That would be surprising to me if Taylor only gets the Globe. I mean, Regina King for If Beale Street Could Talk, she only won Critics' Choice and Golden Globe. But she wasn't even nominated, right, for BAFTA or SAG, so that was like a weird situation. That would surprise me if like Taylor or Skarsgård wins at the Oscars with just a Globe win. I'd be like, wow, okay. I mean, it's possible, I guess.
I can only think of George Clooney for Syriana for that happening. And that was
George
a year
Clooney
where
only won Globe?
Yeah, but they were completely split like everywhere when that happened. Like if I would say if SAG went with like Del Toro, I could maybe see myself switching back to Skarsgård or something, but anyway, it's a super rare thing to do to pick somebody who didn't win SAG or BAFTA.
So. Globe wins do not carry as much weight as SAG and BAFTA. They really don't. So a lone Globe win doesn't really mean anything for you.
Yeah,
so like,
I mean, I think about last year, Demi Moore did very well. She won a ton of stuff, and she still didn't win at the end. So it's like just winning Globe. I mean, I just don't think that can get you the Oscar win at this point, unless
usually
it's
not
very chaotic and it's just so split. It's like 19%, 21% are like the final tallies at the Oscars for the category, and then someone can slip in there maybe. But guys, I'm thinking at SAG it's going to be Amy Madigan. That's who I am thinking. I know. It's very, very unlikely she can win the Oscar with her film Not Strong. But they love horror performances. They love a career narrative. She is the flashiest, biggest performance in that category. She won a Critics' Choice. That's my choice in the category. I think she's so great. And I'm like, you know what? This one last time, I kind of want to stick with her, even though I feel like it's very, very unlikely she can win at the Oscars. Do you guys think Madigan? Do you think Madigan can do it at SAG?
I definitely think Madigan can do it. I think it's fair to be really hesitant because, especially in the supporting actress category, like you don't really want to go with something that's not in Best Picture unless that person is like sweeping. And when Emily Blunt won, that was because Regina King wasn't there. Really,
right? Regina King would have won, right, if she had been there.
Probably. I mean that, and here you have everyone's here. You have two really strong contenders. and
in big films.
And somebody's going to come out and like beat both of them. I mean,
well, that's strange. The thing. We were saying they're not that strong. We're saying they're strong because of their films, but they themselves are not extremely strong. They're not sweeping.
I mean,
right?
There is also also having a SAG Ensemble nomination sometimes counts for a lot. Like even Idris Elba in Beast of No Nation, when he won, like that had a SAG Ensemble nomination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you could say the same about American Gangster with Ruby
right.
Dee.
And Weapons could have gotten an ensemble nomination.
It could have.
I think.
I will say though, Weapons did so well with the guilds. It was in PGA. Right. I think it got WGA. They got the Eddie nomination for drama. It's
well liked.
Yeah. It's well liked.
Yeah, the PGA nomination, when you see, so I was like going through and thinking about everyone individually. And then when you said, well, Madigan could win, and because the guilds have loved Weapons and like it got that PGA nomination, that kind of convinced me to go over the edge. And I was going into this video being like, I think I'm going to predict Madigan. So, because it doesn't make a lot of sense that Taylor missed the BAFTA if she's going to run this whole season.
Mm-hmm.
Wound Me, I'm just going off of a hunch that was like in part because she was British and it's not going to carry over. And Madigan was like winning a ton of awards before like the industry awards started.
Critics,
and with critics, and she won the Critics' Choice as well. But the other thing is that Weapons is so well liked that maybe we treat it as though it's like nominated in the Best Picture for whatever the guilds are. The Guild Awards nominated it for a bunch of awards.
Top 10.
So maybe we can be like, oh, well.
Yeah, but the other two are the top two.
I get that.
So even if you play the game, it's.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Madigan for the chaos. I don't even know what it would make me do for the Oscar. To be honest, I might predict Madigan here and then predict Teyana Taylor for the Oscar.
Bizarre.
I know it would be really bizarre. But
doesn't BAFTA
it's weirder.
Doesn't BAFTA hold more weight than Golden Globe?
A lot more.
Like I would go with if Madigan wins at SAG, I'm like 99% for the Oscar. I will predict Musaku because of BAFTA.
That's interesting.
I think that holds more weight
than Globe.
That's
what you guys did a year ago.
Yeah,
with
on paper that
Mikey
makes
Madison.
the most sense. On paper that makes the most sense, but I guess I would be going off.
Why would Taylor win
paper
over Mosaku with just
because she's in because
her film wins Best Picture?
Right.
Yeah, but that's not a thing.
That's the reason.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing when you don't have.
I know it's not a thing, but Madigan. I mean, well, that's why. Look, if you want to go with Musaku, I'm not going to like outlogic you for that.
But I agree with you.
I will say I'm not as compelled because the Mikey Madison thing fit a sort of more defined pattern for me, where like not only did she take down someone who seemed to be coasting off of like a career narrative, but she also. And she took him out at BAFTA, but her film was more accoladed than like the person's film that she took, the person whose film she took down. So I thought that fit a more clear pattern where we've seen that go in that direction before. Whereas this is like a very scattershot category.
We could also be overthinking this, guys. At SAG, it's just Mosaku, and then she wins the Oscar, and it's just her.
Exactly. Yes,
I know. But
look, if she won SAG, it would be unquestionably that she's winning the Oscar. But it would just seem so strange to me that she's gonna like run the field at the last minute, and that it wasn't like I don't know. It really feels like it came out of nowhere. I didn't think she was going to win anything this season.
Because SAG voting closed on Thursday after BAFTA, right? There were still like 4 more days for voting for SAG. So people might have looked to the BAFTA win and said, well, I'll go with her. Like that.
Well,
could that be a thing?
It's funny because Musaku didn't even get a Globe nomination, which obviously at this point, like it doesn't matter. But that just does go to show that like at the beginning of the season, like it actually wasn't obvious. I think because like, if Musaku had like a 5-minute monologue, like it would be really obvious, like that, and that it was happening all the time.
One scene in that film where she just pops and she's got a monologue, and you're like, "Oh, that's the clip," and it was more obvious. Then that would make more sense.
That's the thing about like where I'm like, maybe Madigan you have to trust like some intuition that like, yes, Madigan does have that more than the other two, which is why the other two are not sweeping. When like it could, if you were trying to make them win an Oscar, like you could have done it with just one more scene or something, and like you could have made it really easy, but it there's a reason that they're not sweeping, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the reason they're not sweeping is what you said. Yeah.
Madigan has two clips.
Yeah. Madigan has the whole thing
in the principal's office.
Yeah.
And the scene at the table.
She's got the role. She doesn't have the film. But she doesn't fully not have the film, because if you think about like people who did win the Oscar for films that weren't Best Picture, like Brendan Fraser for The Whale and Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, those films were close. I mean, both of those got PGA and just not the Oscar.
Yeah, Weapons has PGA.
And Brendan Fraser was a Critics' Choice SAG combo, wasn't he? I would say
close.
A Golden Globe SAG combo for Tana Taylor. I don't really see that happening very much. I mean, that doesn't mean it can't happen.
So would you predict this? I think what you're both saying is that if Amy Madigan won, you're saying you'd predict Wunmi Mosaku for the Oscar. Would you predict Wunmi or would you predict Amy Madigan?
I think that Wunmi makes the most sense to do on paper, but I'd have to think about it.
Yeah. That's how I feel.
I've always felt like Madigan's performance has a bit more of an it factor to it.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I mean, I don't know if we want to consider this factor, but like SAG winners being all white would be strange, especially for SAG.
Right.
I don't know like how you want to quantify that, but
yeah. Usually they're like matching the Oscars in terms of like,
unless you want to say the ensemble like counts, then
yeah.
Right, the ensemble of potentially sinners.
Anyway, Brian,
well, I have something to say about that coming up. Yeah, Best Supporting Actress. You know, in my head, I'm like, it could just be Mosaku. She just wins here. She wins the Oscar. Case closed.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor has a shot. I don't really feel at SAG, especially if Sinners takes Best Cast. Why would One Battle win both supporting actor and supporting actress? That would be weird. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could also just say One Battle could win Best Cast.
If One Battle won cast, then that would make more sense, I guess.
And then you'd just be expecting One Battle to do extremely well at the Oscars.
Sinners is going to win something. Sinners is going to win something at SAG. Well, come on.
We said this last year about Anora, didn't we? Because Anora was like really looking good for Best Picture. It won a big prize at BAFTA.
At SAG.
And everybody was saying, if you got any smarts, you're predicting Anora to win something at SAG, and it didn't. But then it was totally fine at the Oscars. But I agree, though. Like, Sinners makes a lot of sense to win. I feel like if it didn't win anything, I'd be shocked.
Yes, I'd be shocked if Sinners didn't win
That's
something.
a little different to me because the ensemble in Anora was kind of small. What was it, 5-ish people? It wasn't a big ensemble. Demi Moore was very strong, had the career narrative. So at SAG, she just made sense. And then supporting actor was never going to the other guy from Anora. So you could kind of make the case. It was a little bit touch and go there, but I feel like Sinners has been so strong as a film next to One Battle. It would be weird to me if One Battle takes cast, supporting actor, supporting actress, just like doesn't win anything. It's tricky because I'm just like, I don't think Amy Madigan can win the Oscar. But I think she fits in like the wheelhouse of SAG. The older actress like gives this really cool, flashy horror performance. She's nominated at the Oscars. If she wasn't there, I'd say, okay, I don't think so, but she's there. She has won a prize before. I didn't
get nominated for BAFTA, but
she's not at BAFTA. I get a sense that Madigan's going to do it.
Weapons was very well represented, throughout the season with the guilds and everything. So I'm also going to go with Madigan here. Okay. It just makes the most sense for me in my current state, but they could rock my world and do something else. Like that's been happening a lot this season. So,
what are you thinking, Cole? Are you going with someone else right now?
I am gonna go with Amy Madigan. This also feels like,
oh my god!
I also feel, but here's the other thing. I thought I was gonna be the only one. I think inevitably I'm going to be wrong in this category. I just think that I just think I'm not going to call this no way. I don't trust myself at all.
There are some cons against Madigan. She's kind of a wild pick here, actually. It makes more sense to go with Taylor or Mosaku. I just feel in my heart it's going to be Madigan at SAG. I think that would be a moment. That would be awesome. And also, then it's then we'll start thinking well, maybe she can win the Oscar. I don't know what that'll be like.
Also, maybe I'm not watching the right content, but from what I'm seeing on a campaign perspective, I'm seeing Madigan and Taylor more like talking about their role and doing Q&As. Like I can't really recall like watching a ton of like Mosaku.
No, I see a lot of Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan for Sinners, and Delroy Lindo as well.
Yeah, I see more Delroy Lindo.
Delroy Lindo's everywhere.
Anybody, yeah. So I don't know, like maybe I would factor that in, like against Mosaku.
Could be your algorithm.
They could do a last. I mean, if the studios got smarts, like they'll obviously do like a last minute blitz.
Yeah.
At the same time, you know, they also have one battle, so I don't know. But
right, same studio. Yeah, Taylor, I saw just yesterday. She was like, I put on YouTube, and there were like 2 different interviews with her, 2 different places, like in the last couple days. I'm like, okay, she's out there. She's campaigning.
She shows a love for her character that I'm sure actors would love. And Amy Madigan's just very charming and humble in interviews too. So I think that they both have a strong like campaign going.
Yeah, I feel like Taylor might have a better chance to win SAG than Mosaku, but by the time this drops, you guys, we'll just be a few hours away from the ceremony, so we'll find out soon enough. So I am in shock right now. We are in agreement about Madigan, all 3 of us.
I guess so.
Okay,
I can't change it now because then I'm going to be actually.
Don't change.
Then I'm going to be actually wrong. Yeah, you're done.
All
They're
right.
going to do what I don't do. So.
No, you're done.
Our final prediction to win Best Supporting Actress at SAG is Amy Madigan, Weapons. Okay, Best Actor is next. Male actor in a leading role. The nominees are Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, and Jesse Plemons, Bugonia. This is my no guts, no glory pick, guys. I am not going with Chalamet. What are you thinking?
Oh, wow. Are you going with Michael B. Jordan?
You're going with Michael B. Jordan.
I am going with Michael B. Jordan.
So
I think he's going to do it. I have this feeling. I don't know.
All right. Please go on.
He hasn't won anything. He couldn't even win at the Golden Globes. He lost to Wagner Moore there. But I don't know. I'm getting, here's the thing. I am getting the sense that Chalamet is not going to win at SAG. I think because he missed at BAFTA and he just won here a year ago, which we correctly predicted. This is where he could slip, I think. Are they going to give a 30-year-old a second Best Actor win in a row? I am not convinced of that.
I wonder if the SAG thinks of their award as just a way to get somebody an Oscar. And that they don't actually think, oh, we gave this person like a bunch of SAG awards. They think like, well, we are, when we give them the award, it helps them get an Oscar. So like, I wonder if that's actually how they think about it. I mean,
which would lead you to who?
Well, it wouldn't lead me. It would just support like, oh, I don't know if it's a negative or not for Chalamet that he won last year. You know, like I see the argument. I mean, we don't have evidence that Tom Hanks would have won for Philadelphia because SAG didn't exist
yet,
just the year before Forrest Gump, but he won back-to-back Oscars.
Listen, I would say that we shouldn't weigh the factor of he won last year that heavily. I really don't.
But why? For the reason that I said?
But it's never happened. It's never. Renee Zellweger is the only time.
Right, but there you go. Renee Zellweger.
In two different categories, though. It wasn't the same category. It was supporting actress.
There just hasn't been like a compelling example where you're like, oh, well, this person was supposed to win but didn't because of this factor. Like, so we can't point to that either. We don't really have evidence to the contrary.
But also,
it's such an anomaly for this to be even be in this scenario in the first place.
But like Renee Zellweger, right? Like she lost the Oscar the first time they gave her the award, and then they gave it to her the second time. I do wonder if like
it wasn't an actress; it was a supporting actress. So that's a little different,
right? I mean, yeah. Anyway,
has Glenn Close won a SAG award besides The Wife? Why do I feel like
it's just The Wife?
I think so. Yeah. Never mind.
But I think that when Glenn Close's time if Glenn Close's time comes, SAG will be like, we have to give her the award again because it's our job to get her the Oscar. Like, I don't know. Maybe that is how they think because they're just Hollywood minded actors, right? Like they're not. Well, do they value the sanctity of their award that much, or
I don't know. I think. What do you mean that's sanctity?
They view their award as a stepping stone. They know what it is.
I think that's true. They're kind of voting for it. They want to win the Oscar, sure. But as far I'm not really considering that as a factor. Like that Timothy won last year, so he won't win this year.
Okay.
It might be a little bit, but it's really hard to say. And ultimately, if people just love that performance, why wouldn't they want to see it win an Oscar? Knowing that he didn't win last year.
So I'm in a unique position here. My favorite performance in the category is Chalamet. If he wins at SAG, it's locked up. He's winning the Oscar, so I will be perfectly happy with that. Yeah. I'm just having some fun here, guys, right at the end. I'm like, I want to do one more, like big, no guts, no glory.
Right.
And I just feel like because he lost at BAFTA and he just won at SAG in the same category, there is vulnerability there. The fact that at BAFTA, Marty Supreme won nothing, that's a little bit, I don't know. That's something. I'm like, I don't know. That could be questionable.
I think Michael B. Jordan is compelling for the following reason. That Sinners might just be a bigger fish than we even think, and maybe it's like about to win Best Picture. In that case, I could see this being a very important win in Sinners' trajectory towards like actually defeating One Battle. And, I'm not sure it would like if Sinners won any acting award, including Musaku, and it won ensemble, I would be thinking they're even closer to tied up for the Best Picture win.
Right.
So if Michael B. Jordan were to take SAG and the Oscar, like in retrospect, that would just look like a major signal that Sinners is actually the front runner.
Well, I have a question for Brian. If it does go the way that you say, and Michael B. Jordan wins SAG, who are you predicting for the Oscar?
Probably Wagner Moura.
Actually?
No way, really?
Yeah. I think if Michael B. Jordan wins at SAG, I might go with Moura at the Oscars, because there will be a little bit of like, there'll be vote splitting. There'll be like, wait, Chalamet, Jordan, what? And Moura,
I think if Michael B. Jordan won the SAG, I would go with Michael B. Jordan for the Oscar.
You would go with Michael B. Jordan for the Oscar?
Because really? Sinners is so strong.
Yeah, but what if it didn't win PGA? Then you wouldn't know that.
No, Sinners is still number 2.
I mean, it could be like
stronger than The Secret Agent, right? I mean, it's also stronger than Marty Supreme. If it would be much stronger than Marty Supreme for Marty Supreme to have a fallout where it can't even win the SAG for Best Actor or the BAFTA.
I mean, I've seen like certain critics groups, like when they go for Sinners, they do end up giving it like all these awards. Like they're going for Michael B. Jordan or Wunmi Musaku. I've never thought that Michael B. Jordan's performance feels like it has to win. Right. I mean, SAG would like, this performance in that it's kind of more of a blockbuster, like true, like leading man movie star performance. But I think in the grand scheme of things, Michael B. Jordan's first nomination, it feels like this time around, people are most likely going like, we're happy to give you your first nomination.
But Michael B. Jordan it's different because his career has already been so robust. And I think he should already have a couple nominations.
Yeah.
I mean,
like I would have nominated him for Black Panther and Fruitvale Station. And I think, so, and even Creed, I think he had a good case for a nomination. So he's only getting his first nomination, but it feels like that's long overdue. I mean, and so he's had this career where he came up at a similar time around Chalamet. He has less nominations, but I could see people feeling passionately about his career and that being a motivating factor for them to vote for him here.
Yeah.
So these are the reasons why I think he's probably number 2.
But I also don't know like what his scene is.
No, he doesn't really have a scene. That's why I think you'd have to really consider it as like a career.
At the end.
I just think, I mean,
the gun.
I don't know if maybe...
that's true. That's a good point.
I don't know if maybe Timmy has just been too insistent. Like it kind of, I feel like his thing is that he's implying, "Hello, everybody! Like this is my Oscar moment, guys. Like you gotta," and they might be like, "Well, like you gotta chill, dude." Like I could see that, but
and the speech he gave last year at the SAG Awards was criticized as being out of touch, particularly for the ears of people who are like working people in SAG, right? I mean, the actors who are voting for these awards are not necessarily well established in the industry. The people who are voting for these awards are not necessarily big Hollywood stars. Like they're just, they could just be like regular working actors and we where we don't recognize their names. And that's probably who they are because you're choosing from a pool of like 100,000 or so voters and you're selecting like 2,500 of them.
I don't know, but doesn't them having given Chalamet the award last year show that they really love like Timothée Chalamet?
Well, I don't know. I'm saying, what if the opinion on him has changed because of that SAG speech and of his like sort of persona?
I mean, they liked Marty
how that's
Supreme a
evolved.
lot. Like,
Yeah, that's the
like
thing with Marty
Supreme a lot,
Supreme. It's in cast, it's in supporting actress. It's not like he's the only nominee there. So
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes
I want to make I want to make this very clear, you guys. I want to make this very clear. I think the smart prediction is Chalamet. I think he makes the most sense because if he loses, you can make the case for DiCaprio or Jordan or Hawke. There are totally like pros to each of those. DiCaprio's in a very strong film. Hawke is the legendary like acting veteran who has a very showy, baity, real life character in that. And he's never won a big award before. So Hawke is in the mix. And then Jordan is in one of the strongest films of the year, Sinners, plays two characters in that very well. So I think part of me is like Chalamet is the smartest pick because even if you're going to go with someone else, it's not like there's just one other person. There's three others here who could maybe do it. I'm just having some fun here. Honestly, I'm just like,
no, but see, I came in though, like being like, all right, well, I'm going to predict Chalamet, but I do have a suspicion that Michael B. Jordan would be the spoiler if it weren't Chalamet.
Wouldn't that be a moment, you guys? They open the envelope and say Michael B. Jordan. That'll bring the house down. That would be incredible.
Yeah. But SAG's not that crazy, are they?
They don't do that.
When has someone won just SAG?
Like Oscar, right? What do you mean, didn't Michelle Yeoh do that? Or
she got a Golden Globe? To be fair,
that's like, barely.
Yeoh won at the Globes,
but
for comedy,
Michelle Yeoh was a veteran actress at that point.
I would feel better about Jordan if he had won the Globe. If Jordan had won the Globe over Mora, I feel more confident.
He was up against one other person
but I'm like, that the Globe makes a lot of sense that it didn't go to.
No, I know, but why? It makes sense because Michael B. Jordan was never like the obvious like.
No, but it also makes sense. Well, it also makes sense because
Chalamet,
the Globes were going to like Sinners less.
I think they usually go for the performance that is like just just a huge acting showcase, right? And I think Michael B. Jordan does some showy stuff in playing twins, but I feel like Chalamet's performance was an acting showcase. I also think it's true about Ethan Hawke, who I know some people think is going to spoil here, and I would just say, cool. When you're not in a Best Picture movie, you better hope to have won some other awards or like be sweeping or something.
Yeah. Well, we just predicted Madigan.
Whatever. We predicted Madigan. Okay.
Well, she won the Critics' Choice.
She won Critics' Choice. She has a lot more wins.
Yeah.
But so I think there's a clear performance that is the most showcasey for acting. But I do agree that like Timmy, we'll see if he gets away with this easy. I think him losing the BAFTA, I'm not factoring in that much because he lost to somebody who's not nominated. Nominated. That performance, from all the clips that I've watched, is very
extraordinary. Yeah,
and like maybe if that was an American movie, that person could win the Oscar. But
it could. Yeah, it could just be like at BAFTA, Chalamet was a clear second. He just didn't win because someone on their turf gave this amazing performance.
That's
that
guy
won. Chalamet wins SAG, he wins the Oscar. It's set and done. I still think that might be the most logical case, but there is that thing of like he is coming on really strong these last few weeks, like doing retrospectives of his career, like every night holding a screening of like all of his past movies, as if he's 70 years old and has been working forever. I feel like there might be people who are turned off by that. You don't think so?
No, he's definitely seeming like a little entitled.
Like this is his moment.
Here's why I deserve an Oscar, even though I'm like
30,
barely 30.
And it's hard to win. I mean, not that Jordan is much older.
If you want to consider that his attitude could be a factor, his speech at the very ceremony last year, which they have undoubtedly seen, would be part of that calculus, right?
Where it came out a little bit,
where it rubbed people the wrong way, and then he's since like toned it down when he gets up on stage and wins an award wisely. But like, he's already had a lot of moments where. People kind of consider them.
I also, guys, one other thing. I feel like it's weird if Sinners takes cast at SAG and it doesn't win any individual prizes would also be kind of weird to me. Maybe that's happened before. probably
I
has.
think that's actually a little normal. Like
that normal?
Conclave, Parasite.
Conclave, yeah.
Yeah, Conclave, that's true. Well, especially, but if you get 3 acting nominations without taking any, that's kind of where,
Yeah.
like, I saw someone mention, and that's where the last movie to do that was Birdman.
Okay.
Birdman
Not
did
that
do
long
it.
ago, but-
Like, and Birdman could have won, actor, obviously.
I mean, that's the thing. I think Michael B. Jordan really, so I'm going to predict Chalamet. We'll just, put it out there. I think it's the safe thing to do. I think it makes the most sense. I think he's on track to win the Oscar, but I think Michael B. Jordan comes along in the scenario that Sinners is going to win Best Picture. I really think that would be like a major indication that there's a tide for that film, because
Sinners takes PGA.
Even if it didn't take PGA,
huge,
I mean, if it took PGA, it would be, everybody would agree that it's winning Best Picture. But I'm saying, like, even given that One Battle wins PGA, and Sinners does something like Ensemble and Michael B. Jordan, imagine if it got 3, if Musaka won as well, then I'd be like going into the Oscars being like, this is extremely close, and maybe I'll predict Michael B. Jordan Best Actor, and then you got a Best Screenplay, and then I might even switch to Sinners in Best Picture. That might put me over the edge to switch to Sinners in Best Picture.
That's why I feel like it's not happening.
But that's why overall I'm still thinking One Battle has the edge, and so I'm not going to give it that yet. But if I saw that, I would potentially give it the edge.
If Timothée Chalamet was in One Battle, the movie winning picture and director, I would just go with Chalamet. That'd be too strong. But Marty Supreme, it got a lot of nominations at the Oscars. It doesn't seem very clear to me what else it could win besides actor. So it's not like overly strong in terms of wins.
It's just actor.
But he's it's one of those performances where he's like, the movie is
all
so
over the
him,
thing. Yeah. Whereas Jordan, I mean, he's the star of it, but it's got a ton of people surrounding him. So
that's the thing. Yeah. That's where maybe it makes sense that Sinners may not take any individual awards
and win cast.
But it could win a casting award, like Conclave, I guess.
Yeah, if it's Chalamet, I will never read into that again. If someone wins a SAG award and then they're the favorite a year later in the same category, I'll say, well, Chalamet pulled it off. He pulled a Tom Hanks.
And everybody it'll be settled. That case will be just done.
That's the piece of it, even more than the BAFTA loss. It's just like, are they going to give it to a
the piece of it that
30-year-old
really makes
again?
Okay.
That's
I see where you're coming from on that.
I'm like weeks ago, I was like, Chalamet will win at BAFTA, but it's SAG where he can miss because he just won there in the same category. And now that he's lost at BAFTA shows me like, well, he's not quite as strong as we thought. And so there could be some vulnerability there. It's probably just going to be Chalamet. And we just, we'll have had a fun conversation here. You guys in the comments will be like, haha, Brian, what are you doing? But
it's still fun. There's a little suspense.
Yeah, I think there's a little suspense. I'm going to feel a little suspense. Yes. I don't want to make it sound like Chalamet's going to run away and then I'm just blindsided. I think I want to really prepare myself for that scenario.
Yeah.
And I've outlined my actions that I would take in response to that. I would probably put Sinners at Best Picture.
Do you guys think there's any shot it's DiCaprio? Could that happen?
Not really.
I don't feel that momentum for him.
Yeah, I feel like he would have won BAFTA.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe
BAFTA.
he was the runner-up at BAFTA.
Maybe he was second.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that if you think about those performances where people are like, "Oh, are we giving him another like Cate Blanchett for Tar, Anthony Hopkins, Frances McDormand? Who's the other recent one?"
Yeah, in this
like
weird way.
Oh, wait, who is it? Anyway, I feel like that happens at BAFTA more likely, where they're the ones to do that. SAG likes new faces, maybe. I mean, I guess to your point,
in a weird way, I think Hawk has a better chance of surprising at SAG than DiCaprio. I think that Hawk
as well
has like the real meaty, Beatty role where he's the whole thing. If they want to go a different direction, not go with Jordan or Chalamet, Hawk seems like he could be the shocker. I'll be prepared for that too. I don't know about you guys, maybe, but
yeah, I feel like Hawk is like not. I feel like there's no universe where he could have been like a Julianne Moore, still Alice. Like it's your time, and like, but I think it would have required him to win kind of everywhere. which he hasn't really been winning.
I mean, people
much.
are pointing to that moment in Aramayo's speech for Best Actor at BAFTA. Like, he called out Ethan Hawke and said what a great person he was. He had come, and there was like a really nice moment of that speech. I don't think that plays much of a role. I don't think enough SAG voters are watching that.
People freaked out about Ava Victor getting a shout out.
Ava Victor, Julia Roberts.
I bought into that didn't result in anything.
Hook, line, and sinker. I was like, I think Julia Roberts just gave her an original screenplay nomination, and it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, that didn't mean anything. Okay, so yeah, I would definitely. I think for me, it's a close call, and Chalamet could do it, and I will not be surprised if Chalamet wins on Sunday nights. Then it's over, and then we just easily predict him to win the Oscar, and there's no suspense. There's been enough chaos in the acting categories this year, guys. I want it to keep going.
I know.
It's fun.
I would have a lot of fun with Michael B. Jordan 1. I would that would be really exciting.
It would be a moment. That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Especially if Sinners takes cast and not supporting actress. I just think that'd be kind of neat. Like, in lead actor, we get Jordan to win there. So I'm going to go with him. I know I'm probably wrong, but I did not feel confident about Mosaku a week ago for BAFTA. I felt like, Brian, that's kind of a crazy prediction. And then she won that, so you never know. Right?
Yeah, maybe you're about to be an oracle. I think after that, 2 good calls, we'd have to be.
The universe is gonna beat me down again. Like, they're gonna say, "Oh, Brian, you get to have this Mosaku moment. You know, one of the few to predict that correctly at BAFTA." And now I just go back down to earth when it's just Chalamet. That's probably what's gonna happen, but let's go for it. Let's do one big no guts, no glory. So my final prediction to win Best Actor at SAG is Michael B. Jordan, Sinners. Oscar expert and brother bro, their final prediction is Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme. Next is Best Actress. This is going to be a tough one.
We're going to have an even longer conversation about this category.
This is going to be the epic hour conversation. Okay. Best Actress. The nominees are Jessie Buckley, Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson, Song Sung Blue, Chase Infinity, One Battle After Another, Emma Stone, Bugonia. Is there any reality, guys, where Buckley misses this?
I'm predicting Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson, I feel like, is the one who could do it.
Well, no, I'm messing around. I think there's no reality where Jessie Buckley doesn't win this.
Yeah. I'm saying if Buckley were to lose in the shocker of the century, it would be Hudson, not Byrne. It would be Hudson. I think
it'd be Hudson.
Yeah,
I guess so.
And I will have a mental breakdown.
I think the internet would have a mental breakdown.
Ugh.
If Hudson beats Buckley somewhere, I would just be like, what are we doing here?
No.
I just don't think. I think Buckley is so strong. Her film at SAG is in supporting actor and cast. She's won everything. How can Buckley miss this?
Yeah. She's going to win it.
She can't.
We got to have one sweeper, right? It'd be insane. So she's the sweeper.
But I do think if that 2%, 1%, whatever you want to say, if it wasn't her, I think it's Hudson, not Byrne. I think Hudson is very well connected. I think she could do it.
I agree.
But that would be very unlikely. And I mean,
or her or Rose Byrne, if you want to go for like who's number 2 or 3.
Yeah. But I think, like, even if that happened in a total shocker, like I would not doubt Buckley for the Oscar for 1 second.
No. No. You stick with her for the Oscar. She's winning the Oscar no matter what.
So. Yeah. So I'm happy Chase Infinity is here. I think she should be at the Oscars. I don't think we've talked about this. What do you guys feel about the Kate Hudson nomination at BAFTA and SAG and the Oscars? Are you cool with it? You like that performance? Or are you like, what's happening there?
I mean, I thought the movie was all right, but I couldn't deny that she was very good in it, and it was pretty Oscar baity. So I don't hate it. I didn't like need Chase Infinity personally, so I was like kind of. I would have had other people to pick over both of them, but you know, I'm not like upset about it just because I don't like the movie. I guess.
I think Amanda Seyfried should be there. Personally,
that would have been
a good nomination. I'm not upset about it. Like, it's not really a movie that's made for me, I realize when I watch it.
Yeah.
And if that performance is moving people, which I think it is, then that's great that she's there. I don't have anything against it.
Yeah.
But I don't think the movie's great. But I can see how it would be very moving for like ordinary folk.
Right. I think the first time I ever saw her floated to actually get like the Oscar nomination was in your video, guys. I think it was like October, like before anyone had seen it. You had Kate Hudson.
It was because these in like Variety and I think Matt Neglia as well were like starting to predict her because the studio was sort of suggesting that they were going to give her a robust campaign and that she was great in the movie.
But she was your number 5 in like mid-October, I want to say, somewhere around there. And I went, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah.
What is this movie?
When the reactions came out,
Everyone
was like,
came at
okay,
you.
I'm not insane, right? Because like she was actually getting some good reactions, and people didn't have her in yet. But I was like, it wasn't insane to predict her.
No, I mean she got in at BAFTA. I was like, wow, like she was strong. Like I thought BAFTA they would probably
predict her at the end of the day. I did not predict her, so that's too bad for me. But.
Yeah,
I think that movie is very forgettable. I very much believe in a few years nobody will remember that movie. No one will think about it, and they'll have to look up like, what was this movie Kate Hudson was nominated for? Whereas
Basically.
Almost Famous is like just one of the great films of the early 2000s, one of my all-time favorites. Like that's a different caliber of film, I think.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, ultimately,
it
just there's always that kind of performance with the Oscars, like where the film's not memorable, but you got to give it a nomination here or there. So
yeah, she was the one. I mean, like nobody else from that movie, actor behind the scenes, like got in anywhere. It was just her the whole time. Rose Byrne, God, what a performance she gives in that. I was predicting her to win Critics' Choice. I thought that was the one big prize she could beat Buckley, and when she didn't win that, I said, okay, I don't think she can win anything.
Yeah, so, just because I thought
Buckley,
I could see that happening, but Buckley, I thought Buckley was just so strong, like that she'd just be a sweeper. Ever since I saw him, I was like, that's running the table. She's winning everything.
Yeah, I watched that movie right next to you guys at Toronto, and I was just weeping.
Yeah,
I needed to go into the lobby and just like take a moment. It was so moving to me, that film and her performance especially. So yeah, we in agreement about Buckley. We think she's going to win at SAG.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay. One of you are like, actually, no, I don't think it's going to be her. And here's the 3 reasons. I'd be like, okay, let's hear it. So, all right. Our final prediction to win Best Actress at SAG is Jessie Buckley, Hamnet. Our final category to talk about in this video is Best Cast. The nominees are Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. So are we in agreement, guys? It's between One Battle and Sinners. It's going to be one of those two. Mm-hmm. I am leaning towards Sinners. What are you guys thinking?
A lot of people that I trust, that I watch their videos, are predicting One Battle here.
Really? Okay.
And I think there's a lot of good reasons to predict One Battle.
Yeah, One Battle totally makes sense. If that wins, I'll be like, yep. I have this feeling about Sinners. I think it has a chance to win Best Picture at the Oscars. It got 16 nominations, and like it's possible. I think Sinners will probably win Best Casting at the Oscars. That's what I'm feeling. It's a legendary casting.
It was winning a lot of the ensemble and casting awards early in the season.
It won a Critics' Choice, this category.
I mean, and by far too. Like all the casting.
That doesn't always indicate, though.
It doesn't always.
I mean, for example, cinematography was going to Sinners like a big time with critics groups, and
now it's
maybe
battle.
The industry is going to get. I mean, we don't know what ASC is doing, but maybe that's One Battle anyway. Like, so
I think that's One Battle. Cinematography.
Yeah, I always kind of thought
that. So maybe it's like that, where it's like, okay, all the critics groups said we think that Sinners equals ensemble, but when you get to the industry, it's not that. Well, but I do think there's something to be said that like even groups that like One Battle are like, well, Sinners makes more sense for ensemble to us. Like,
yeah,
for whatever reason.
I think the films are close in terms of what's the #1 movie of the year, what's winning Best Picture, and I think there's going to be a question mark about Sinners on Oscar night, and I'm looking for SAG to give me that question mark. Mm-hmm. I'm anticipating that it will be Sinners for ensemble because, just let's assume that every voter loves both of those movies. They just love both. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how the season is going. It just indicates that both of them have an extreme amount of love. Well, it might not just come down to like a best film vote here. It might be, well, of the two ensembles, like who do I like more? And even if they like One Battle more as a film, they also love Sinners, and Sinners stands out more for its ensemble because I don't know. Maybe because it's larger, maybe because it's more of an ensemble piece.
In Sinners, the characters are often together a lot, especially in the second half. They're like all in that big group. Whereas One Battle, they're separated for the most parts. But I felt that way a year ago. I thought Anora could win ensemble because those characters were together like the whole time. And then they just went with Conclave, where they're separated a lot. So maybe that doesn't mean anything. But I don't know. For many weeks, actually, I have thought, even if One Battle basically takes everything in like the top category, Sinners just makes sense to me to win cast at SAG. It's just what I've been feeling.
Yeah, I feel like you can definitely make a very logical argument for One Battle. But at the end of the day, my feeling is that Sinners makes more sense for ensemble for some reason.
Yeah, it just feels more like an ensemble.
Even though both of them maxed out for nominations, like One Battle, you have to hand it credit that it got 5 acting nominations. But which was the most surprising nomination? It was Miles Caton. It was the fact that that movie slipped into a category I really didn't think it would get into, which indicates a lot of passion for Sinners. So,
I mean, I still have we're at both number 6, and like you weren't going to go. They refused sentimental value.
They refused sentimental value, and they also refused Jay Kelly. If you want to put Adam Sandler back in the mix, but
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, he got in over Stellan Skarsgård. So,
guys, how did Miles Caton get in at SAG, and then Delroy Lindo got the Oscar nomination? Wouldn't it have been flipped, or like it seemed like Delroy Lindo would have made more sense at SAG?
Kind
of interesting.
I've seen like I mean, clearly with a Zion and Infinity and Miles Caton, you got to point out a pattern of newcomers at SAG, and the Oscars kind of like to gatekeep a little bit more. And I also remember like Nocturnal Animals, Aaron Taylor Johnson was getting more attention, and then Michael Shannon got the nomination instead because they were like, "That's our acting veteran," and you know they obviously did that with like Katrina Balfe getting snubbed for Judi Dench. Like, so the Oscars like to do this thing where they like they like their veterans more, and then maybe SAG is more like, we like giving people first time nominations.
Judd Hirsch over Paul Dano in the failed
maybe it's because SAG
you're right.
is younger. SAG is younger, and they also maybe appreciate like, you know, letting breakout actors have their big moments. I don't know.
Maybe
it would just be really weird to me, guys, if Sinners doesn't win anything at SAG.
No, Sinners is going to do well here. I have a strong feeling. That's why I'm trying to consider maybe it's not strong enough to like win. You know, maybe it's not going to like suddenly become the front runner for Best Picture, but it does very well.
Yeah.
Whereas,
sense to me.
I mean, some people are like trying to call it Sinners is going to start to sweeping acting awards, and it's going to go into the SAG and win 2 or 3 awards, and then it's going to go into the Oscars and like, so I don't know. I don't know how to, how to call whether that's about to happen.
What if on Sunday night it's Musaku and Jordan and cast? Wouldn't that be something? Yes. I'd be like, whoa.
You know what, Brian? That's what Joyce from Gold Derby is currently predicting. I mean, maybe she'll update her predictions before.
Yeah.
But that was like a 3 days ago prediction. She's like actually like consistently goated in her predictions. And I'm like, if Sinners doesn't win at least 2 awards, then she does like poorly. And she almost never does poorly. But maybe she'll change her predictions last minute and then be right. And then I don't know. But I'm like, I always look at her because I'm like, sometimes when I do that, I'm like, I should have just listened to Joyce.
Yeah, I mean, what would bum me out, guys, is after Sunday night, after SAG, everything's suddenly locked up. It just seems like One Battle takes cast, Chalamet wins, Musaku wins, and Penn wins, and Buckley's wins, obviously. And it's just like, oh, now we all know who's winning everything at the Oscars. That'll be boring. I don't want that.
No.
Yeah,
let's keep this fun.
I thought it was going to be really obvious, and I'm glad that it's not obvious now. For the time being.
So are you guys going with One Battle or Sinners in cast?
Sinners.
Just feeling that.
Okay. I thought one of you were leaning toward One Battle. Were you swayed?
I've been swayed that there's a good case to make for it, but I just ultimately like my gut is telling me that this is Sinners Award. I don't know.
Yeah, watch it be like Frankenstein.
I would throw my couch out the window. Wouldn't have a choice.
Like when you heard the F1 nomination for Best Picture, that was classic. Your reaction to that was flawless.
Oh,
that was painful, right? We're like, what?
Don't bring these things up.
It's still,
You
it's
didn't
still
give me a
painful.
trigger warning before saying that.
F1 is in stunt ensemble. It's here.
Oh yes,
True.
Does it win that? Should we just say real quick what wins stunt ensemble? Mission Impossible?
I kind of stopped tallying
Probably
this,
Mission
but
Impossible.
Mission Impossible has not lost an award yet.
Oh, okay. There you go. Give it to that.
With every group possible, and it's like 20-0 for
Oh,
my tally.
that's the last
I don't
movie.
know.
So there you go.
I gotta go with Mission Impossible.
Okay.
Yeah, I would go with
Mission
that.
Impossible wins something too. But I don't think Tom Cruise will be there to give a speech. I don't think he'll be there.
Oh, he'll be here next year. He's got to go. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah,
on
for
his,
Digger.
He's got. Yep, he's trying to win
That'll
an
be
Oscar.
exciting. I just based on that little tease, I'm like, oh yeah, I think Cruise is going to be a big player.
He's got
We'll
makeup.
see. Yeah. But yeah, cast, it comes down to one battle or Sinners. If it's one battle, that will make sense. I think if one battle takes this, it's like very likely winning picture. I think if one battle wins here, it's like it's kind of over. Sinners needs this to win picture at the Oscars, I think. And I think all three of us are in agreement. It's probably going to be Sinners. So our final prediction to win Best Cast at SAG is Sinners. That was fun, guys. So thanks so much for coming back to the channel. I try to have you on like twice a year. Like, you know, after TIFF, we have to kind of sort through everything we've seen and start thinking about award season. And that's always a fun chat, just kind of rambling on about so many performances. Now, as we get close to Oscars night and SAG, it's like, okay, now that so much has happened over the last few weeks, I need you guys back to talk about it all. So this was a thrill.
Yeah, I like this tradition, and I'm glad the BAFTAs gave us a lot of food for thought.
Yeah,
and had a lot of fun.
Yeah. A year ago, there wasn't much to talk about for SAG predictions. Just actor. That was like it. It wasn't much.
That's true.
So
yeah,
we had more to say in this one.
I am, you know, I'm coming away from this just being like, man, am I underestimating Sinners in an acting category? Don't know which one it will be, but
yeah, the one we should not be underestimating is Wunmi Musaku for supporting actress. I'm like,
maybe I was.
She's the only one who has a televised award. So.
Well, yeah,
What?
I mean, just
She's the only one who won a televised award.
Tana Taylor won a televised award.
I said from Sinners.
Oh, from Sinners, sure.
yeah.
So
I mean,
not to be like, oh my god, Sinners is going to do so like, not quite evidence for it yet, but
Yeah, maybe
we'll see.
when Misaka wins.
so guys, before we wrap up here, any final thoughts? Like, are we excited for SAG? Do you want a big surprise? Are you like ready for this award season to be over? How are we
I
feeling?
just think that it would be so hard to predict the Oscars if Amy Madigan wins that I just want that to happen.
Touche
tricky.
for if Benicio del Toro wins.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's why.
Delroy Lindo, man.
I think
He's like,
I'm
come
going
on.
to be surprised. I don't have any. I don't have any misconception that I'm going to go and get every category right here. I think I'm going to be surprised, and I'm looking forward to it.
I think Benicio is possible, and that would be
Sure.
really cool. That would be like,
Sure.
man, someone new at every ceremony. We don't ever see that. That would be awesome. So, SAG is just a few hours away. We will find out very shortly. I think they know where to find you guys. Oscar Expert on YouTube.
That's
Anything
right.
else you guys want to say or promote before we wrap up?
Got nothing to say.
You
So-
can make your predictions on Award Expert. You can make
Award-
You can make your predictions on the Award Expert iOS and Android app.
Yeah, awesome. All right, thanks again, guys. Let us know in the comments below, what are you predicting to win at SAG? And I'll see you next time at the Awards Contender.